Welcome to this edition of BSW Tech Dive. I am John Lynch, Director of Business Development here at BSWUSA.com, broadcast supply worldwide, and our direct phone number 800 426 8434. Today, the topic is Angry Audio. It's okay, that's the name of the company. And we're bringing on the leader of Angry Audio. His name is Michael Catfish Dosch. Yes, most everybody in broadcasting refers to him as Catfish. So, Mike, thanks for joining us here. On this show, we wanted to talk about two microphone processors that you have, the Rebel and the Smooth. And the key thing that stands out to me is each of these were designed with one microphone series in mind.
Well, you kind of thanks for inviting me, John. You kind of stole my thunder. I was going to tell you that these are unique in that they're designed for one microphone, and so that is actually a new approach to microphone processing. In the past, if you wanted a mic processor, you would it would have 11 or 12 or 55 knobs on the front, and you would spend a lot of time after you'd plugged in your microphone setting up the processing to sound good. And I was talking to my processing partner, Cornelius Gold, and I asked him, could we make it any simpler than that? And he said, well, it needs to have all those adjustments because we have no idea what people are plugging into it. And I asked the stupid question, which is, well, what if we knew what people were plugging into it? And of course, he said, oh, that would be completely different because since I know the characteristics of the microphone in advance, I can optimize the processor so that it works perfectly with that microphone. Now, it might work with some other microphones. Don't get me wrong. It's not that audio doesn't pass through it, but it's really been optimized for the target microphone. So the Smooth is made for the Shure SM7 is really the target microphone for that. But you can also use it with those lucky souls who have SM5s. It works with an SM5. It also works with an SM58. Basically, and in fact, John, I think you said you had an MV Shure microphone
Right.
in front of you.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Sure.
it works with that one too, through the XLR jack, and
Now,
sounds
curious
great.
on this is that I just find this interesting because I'm not an engineer and I don't play one on TV, just the old sportscaster type. But you picked the SM7 and the RE series, which we'll get to in a moment too, the from Electro Voice to do these single mic processor designs. And when I joined the company here after 20 years in radio, but that was still in the last century, they were the two most popular radio station studio mics, period.
It's
And
true.
they still are 33 years later. So, good choice in that case. So, what is it about? Let's talk about Smooth first out. Okay. A, why did you name it Smooth? And B, what makes it do what it does compared to other things? Then I got a follow up question, but go ahead.
Okay, sure. So the names are kind of cute. Smooth is for the SM mics, if you get it. It's in the first two letters. And Rebel is for the RE mics, again in the first two letters. So that's the secret code inside of the name. And how does it do what it does? Well, these are DSP devices, and Corny Gold, our processing expert,
A great
that
one,
guy
by
can
the
do.
way, I might add.
I'm sorry.
I've known Cornelius for a long time. A great one.
Oh, he's fantastic. I'm just blessed to be able to work with him, and so he's just a genius with audio processing algorithms. And so once we kind of dialed in on this idea that we were going to optimize for a particular microphone, he really made a product that it just you plug it in and it sounds amazing instantly. You're not spending days adjusting things, trying to figure out the compromise between this setting and that setting. It really is. I mean, if you love the sound of the Shure mics, and many of us do, it's everything you love about the Shure mic and more. In other words, it doesn't fix the Shure's problems because we don't think it has problems. It just gives you more of that buttery goodness that you get out of a Shure microphone. And so it is a DSP mic processor, which means that it has all the algorithms are digital, of course. It has a premium front end So it's got a recording studio grade microphone preamp in it, which is really important for Shure mics in particular. And I'll speak to that in just a moment. It has both analog and digital outputs. So you actually, if you have a digital radio plant, you could stay digital all the way from the output of the mic processor, all the way to the transmitter, if that's your goal.
Well, that simplifies things.
Yeah, and so why is it important to have a recording studio grade microphone preamp in the front end of this? Well, it turns out that Shure microphones are relatively insensitive, and they take a lot of gain. And one of the issues that people have with this microphone is that they will generally use it in front of a medium quality preamp. Maybe something like a Mackie mixer or something like that, where the preamp is decent, but it's not extraordinary. And they'll find that when they turn the gain up all the way, which is where the Shure wants it to be, it gets hissy. So what people will do is they'll buy a booster of some kind. And so you've probably seen products like the Cloud Lifter and other boosters. And the idea there is to just give you some clean gain out of the microphone so that by the time it hits the preamp, you don't need as much gain in the preamp, because the preamp is kind of noisy to begin with. So it really is just a whole set of compromises. And so what we did instead is we looked at the whole thing and we said, gosh, back in the day, when I was designing microphone preamplifiers for recording consoles, we could get 70 dB with 1 dB of noise figure. It's not easy and it's not cheap, but why don't we do that here? And of course we did. And now you don't need the booster product. You don't need the add-on in order to get all that clean gain that you need out of your Shure microphone. And then of course we analog to digital convert it and do all of our DSP business in Corny's algorithms.
Now, does this series, the Rebel and the Smooth, eliminate a problem I remember from my days on the air? And I remember from all of the years I've been here at BSW, from engineers, does it eliminate the need to lock out or block or put a big fence in front of the processor so the on-air guy doesn't get to it?
Yeah, it has a removable front panel lens, and so I think if you're the engineer, you go and you set it up and you put the lens on and you don't tell anybody that that lens is removable. In other words, the adjustments are hidden, so you can't really get at them. So I don't think I'd tell the on-air guy, hey, there's a bunch of adjustments inside of here that you shouldn't be messing with. I don't think I'd tell them that.
Right.
And but the other thing you can do is you can just lock it down. See, that's the beauty of the fact that once you tweak it a little bit, and in fact, maybe if I tell an anecdote, it'll help. So I oftentimes I get this call from customers, and they'll have taken it out of the box and plugged the microphone in, and they're just immediately satisfied. It's like, don't touch that. And I'll ask them, what adjustments have you made? Are you kidding? Why would I adjust that? It's just perfect. So even if your on-air guy got past the lens and he got in there and he started messing with the controls, he probably couldn't make it sound bad. Maybe not optimum, but it just doesn't have that much range of control because it doesn't need to. It's really just a little EQ to taste. Maybe some people like it a little brighter, or some people like it a little bit bassier or whatever. So that there's a little bit of adjustment, beyond what Corny does automatically. But mostly he just owns it, and so he decides what you should sound like for the most part.
There you go. Now, with Smooth for the SM series from Shure, Rebel for the RE series, particularly RE20, 27, and 320. Same idea in both cases?
Same idea, different algorithms. It optimizes differently. There are bright spots in the RE series mics that don't exist in the Shure mics. The Shure is a warmer mic. The SMs, especially or the REs rather, especially the 27, can be very bright. And so there are controls and algorithms in place to kind of tame it if it gets a little bit too bright. And then all of the EQ controls behave differently than they would on a Smooth. They're at different frequencies and they have different bandwidths. Even the preamp is slightly different. It's the same high grade recording studio preamp, but we found that there's a little bit of a resonance, just maybe a 2 dB bump at a particular frequency that shouldn't be there. That's caused by the transformer. So we added a bit of termination right at the input that tames that. So, and you might say, well, anybody could put that terminator in there. Yeah, but anybody else's microphone processor is designed for anything. So you can't put that terminator in there. But we know exactly what you're plugging in. It's an RE mic, and so we know exactly what impedance we want that to be to get the optimum performance. So there is kind of some interesting benefits when you decide you're going to build a box for a particular microphone.
Well, the RE series for Rebel, the SM series for Smooth, and I'm glad you pointed out that, hey, this is not going to impede if you're doing an all digital chain.
No, in fact, it's probably the best way you could do an all digital chain, because somehow you're going to have to get from the microphone to the into the digital system. So why not have it? Why not have that conversion being done by a very high grade preamp and a very high grade A to D converter, and then optimize the signal before it goes on its way. So I'd like to think that this is maybe the perfect solution for anybody who wants a digital plant. Certainly, it's a very clean device, and people that have bought it, they don't send them back. They love them very much.
Something even an old sportscaster can set up.
Indeed, you need one. I can tell. I've been listening to you, and your voice could be better on smooth. You see.
We'll take care of that.
Okay.
Good tip. Now,
All right.
Rebel for the RE series, Smooth for the SM series from Electro Voice and Shure, respectively. And our guest has been Michael Catfish Dosch. And you've always been known as Catfish. Does that go back to the Oakland A's pitcher or something like that, or what?
No, I've had the nickname for decades, but I will say this: I've had the nickname since before it meant faking somebody else out on the internet.
There you go.
So
Hey, great to have you on the show. Michael
Thank you.
Catfish Dosch from Angry Audio, and he's been our guest on Tech Dive here. I'm John Lynch. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.